Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we are working on my food tracker website. So the problem here is, I cannot trust my tummy. That guy's a lying bastard, right? When he says I'm hungry, it might be because I'm full, actually. I can't tell the difference. And the only way to combat his dumbass behavior is to have information, external information. If I'm like, I literally just ate, and he's like, I'm hungry, I'm like, you're lying, right? But as soon as we get farther from that, the rules kind of are different, right? It's like, I need to know how much food did I eat today? Is it like 4 days of food? Is it like a quarter of a day of food? I honestly, like, I'm so, like, you would think that it would be obvious, but it's really not, dude. It's really not. And so I need a place to write down. Today, I ate this much food. I ate some eggs on bread. I ate some pizza. I ate some burger. Maybe me listing my food and then getting mad. Maybe listing that I eat pizza and burger and then getting mad at people online for telling me that I'm fat. Maybe that's like, maybe I'm setting myself up for it. But okay, I eat food sometimes and I want to write it down. Basically, a glorified spreadsheet. And so today's goal is to try to finally get like meal entry in. I put meals in quotes because the way I eat meals is definitely not really on the table, right? It's kind of more like I didn't eat until like 6 p.m. and then I ate at like I constantly ate from like 6 to 8 and then I didn't eat again until the next day. You can't really call that a meal, but it's like a good a chunk of time. So we'll say that we eat like in sessions at times, and those sessions are composed of like taking ingredients and putting them into like higher level components, right? So maybe we have like egg on bread, right? We have our entry here for eggs. We've put cream cheese, we've put bread in here, and like we want to make egg on bread today. And then we want to be able to make 3 egg on 3 bread out of 1 egg on bread 3 times. That's kind of the goal for today. Yeah, so we have this like idea where the way it's set up right now is that like food ingredients, we have ingredients and ingredients have properties, right? So we like Google bread food label, we look at the bread food label, open image in new tab, and we like punch in like, oh, bread per 51 grams has like 120 calories, 5 grams of protein, whatever, right? We have those as properties in here, and then when we go to the ingredients, we can go to bread and we can enter in, those properties with their numbers. Sick. So the idea here is that we have like standardized properties that are across all ingredients, and then later we'll be able to like collect, within a meal, all of the components of all the things into like how much food do we eat today, how much do we eat that meal, etc., etc. Um, yeah, and so I think we are going to go. We have ingredients, properties, and then mappings between them. Now we need collections. We will call them, I think. And so let's just start trying to make those. So I think it makes sense for us to start with a page to look at collections, maybe, and then we will, on that page, request some collections, and then we will have to add those collections to the database and think about what their format is and stuff like that. So let's start there. Let's start there. So, collections, probably. Right? We're probably going to have a collections page right up here, and we're going to have like a list of them by name. That seems reasonable. And then we'll have collection that will let us look at a particular one of them. So let's start with collections. And I guess, can we just copy paste like another file? Boom. Collections. So we are going to have a style sheet. We're going to import collections.js almost certainly. We are going to say that we have some collections. And in there, we are going to put a bunch of collections. I think that makes sense. And then having a way to add a collection at the bottom, I think also makes sense. So I'm kind of down to just kind of copy this. So this is going to be new collection name and add new collection. I think that makes sense. A template for these things, I don't think that's necessary. I think we're just going to have hyperlinks to all of them. Yeah, sure. Have you worked with drag and drop UI in HTML? Like maybe be an easy way to add stats or DB for your web app. I don't really know what you mean. I like understand that what you mean by drag and drop. I don't really understand how it makes anything easier. I think it's just like more complex. I think. Okay. So let's look at collections.js, and let's do a little console log hello world, and just make sure that if we navigate to this place, I guess probably in their header, we probably want to add collections as a thing. Collections that we can navigate to. So we go here, he says this, and do we see a little hello world here? We do. Hype. Okay, so we do, a little init, async function init, and this guy's gonna have to populate our list of collections, which doesn't exist right now. Does not exist right now. But he's probably gonna do he's gonna say we get some response from the server if we fetch from collections, right? And this is gonna be some JSON response. So collections is gonna be response.json. These guys both have to be awaited. And then what? We go for collection of collections. We probably inject their names with a link to their collection page. Right, that seems kind of reasonable. So we can go maybe we go fragment, create document fragment, and then we go each one of these guys, we make a hyperlink, right? So we say make me a new element of hyperlink, and his target is probably going to be collection.name or ID, I guess, appended to some probably we're going to go collection.html with a query parameter of ID is equal to this. That seems reasonable to me. And then a dot inner text is going to be the collection name. Simple. And then this gets appended to the fragment. And then we append all of that to the global collections array, which is collections. Okay. So you're like this, I say collections, append, fragment. Now, as of right now, why is this mad? Oh, because this is a collections node, I guess. Fine. So as of right now, this will not work, right? Because he's going to try to get collections and that will fail. So I guess we are going to add collections to the DB so that we can request that those collections show up. And return them back. Wow. So we have everything in one file because we're shitty developers. And so on here, I guess we're gonna have to have a collections table, right? And in here, I think it's literally just ID to name, I think. And we'll have another table that's collection ingredients that will kind of map, it will map a collection ID to a ingredient ID with some quantity. Which I guess will be in the same unit as the ingredient itself. I think that makes sense. Okay, so once we have that, then we can add our foreign key constraints, right? So we can say foreign key collection ID must references the collections ID field. Okay, we have the ingredient ID references ingredients ID. Okay. And I worry about quantity here being an integer value, right? If we're I'm eating egg on bread, and then I split that with someone, and I eat half an egg on bread, so like I eat one and a half of them. Then like that should be supported somehow. But I will leave that as an exercise for future me. An exercise for the implementer is a phrase that I like using. And I won't really worry about that right now because right now all of our quantities are in like grams, right? Quantity, yeah, fine. If you want me to put an A in the word that has an A in it, fine. Like you got me, I'll do it. That would have bit me later, so it's actually good that you did that. Um, just don't share food. Yeah, yeah, mine. Yeah, if somebody tries to eat some of my fries, I'll yell at them and slap their hands and scream. Perfect. No, that's for me. Or I count the fries so that it's an integer. What's up with all the backslashes? This is just how Zig does multi-line strings. So it makes it really clear like where the indentation starts and where like the string starts. You know what I mean? Um, the computer says no is a great response. Sorry, it won't let me. Okay, so I guess we should start with like an add ingredient or add collection, right? Because that's kind of going to be the entry point here. So we'll do add collection. And here we go, like self is a DB. And we're gonna have like name, right? That's it. And we're gonna do like a little probably copy paste this, insert into collections, name, single value, right? I'm pretty sure that's it. We create our statement, we finalize that statement, and we bind in the text here. With name pointer. I think it's name length next. So we get the pointer length and then the lifetime destructor shit. So we go int cast name len, and then we say, sir, just pretend it lives forever. Right, so this is like actually a yeah, a null pointer to an SQLite3 destructor type. Perfect. We try to run this thing, and then we give up if it doesn't work. We get angry if it doesn't work the way we expect it to. Cool. So now on like the on the HTTP entry, someone's going to like read the HTTP buffer. They're going to parse the header, and then eventually they're going to try to serve this thing. I am serving header. We're gonna parse the URL and turn it into like an action. And so here we're going to do something that's like we have some like REST API for collections, right? And if we see that they did a put on base, which is maybe not very good resty boy, but it's good enough, we're gonna say add collection on this thing, and we're gonna say we have add probably just like a collection. No, because we don't have ID yet. So add collection params. Oh my god, this code is just serving header slay code. Slay. Yeah, perfect. So that means we need like an add collection here. Which is gonna have add collection params, which means that we need add collection params. Which is literally just like a name. Like this. Cool. And then that means, everyone else just like doesn't do anything. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Well, that's enough internet for me today. Perfect. And then I guess somewhere we're gonna have to handle that thing, right? So we're gonna be like add collection. We have some params, and what are we gonna do? We're gonna be like, we could respond with the collection. I guess that probably is better, right? So we're gonna be like add collection. This is gonna return the collection, and then we can respond with some JSON. Sure. So we connection and collection. That's confusing. So that means that this guy should return the collection. And this is literally just like ID and name, right? So if this thing succeeded, we ask it what the ID was, right? And then we can return ID is ID, name is name. Wowza, look at us go, dude. We're going crazy. Spill the HTTP girl with T spelt TEA is very nice. Very nice. That's my kind of joke, baby. Okay. So now, what's this guy pissed about? What the fuck? I don't know how to get out of this window. There we go. What's he pissed about? Make. Expected 1, arguments found 2. Yeah, true. There's just no param. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. We're smoking crack. Okay, what's he mad about now? Oh, because this thing doesn't return failure. True. True. So true right now. And then this guy... we do need to give him the DB, probably. Yeah. Okay. Looks like we're chilling. He's mad. Probably because the table construction is wrong. So what do we fuck up here? Is there a trailing comma that there shouldn't be here and here? Could be. We could, like, look at error logs, you know? But what if we just didn't? Yeah, he likes that better. He likes that better. Okay, so now, this guy is mad. Oh, probably because the get, we didn't implement get, which is important here. Right, we do need to add a collection, but we also, this page is going to get collections, and if he doesn't know how, the like JavaScript isn't gonna work. So let's say we get a list of these guys. So we use our runtime segmented list so that we can work with, you know, linear allocators and string copying. We can kind of like keep those together. We can like allocate as we need, but still without having to move or free memory and stuff. Kind of nice for us. So we take this guy in like this, and then is like get ingredients is probably a nice inspiration for us. Okay. So get ingredients or get collections. We're going to select ID and name from collections. Pipe. We are going to make sure that that is an okay SQLite statement, and then we're going to create our return type. What are some reasonable guesses for how many collections we will have? 10,000 is insane. There's no shot we ever make it that high. And then 100, I guess, is a fine initial guess. Fuck it. Okay, so we are going to try to map the name and the ID out of this guy. So the ID is in 64. Name is some text of this many bytes, and then we copy it out into our allocator so that we are chill. He gets this stuff, boom, and if we're done, we break, and if we don't get either row or done, then we're like, uh-oh, seems reasonable. And once again, we've done a mega copy paste, which is another indication that this stuff can get factored out. But once again, we're not going to do it because we're lazy pieces of shit. You can't make me. What will actually end up happening is like I'm going to try to commit this and push it, and I'm going to have to go through and fix all of that shit. But for now, since we don't, if we just never commit, then we never have to check that things are okay. You know? You can get away with leaving garbage in if you say, well, we're not done yet. You know? If you never run any tests, you can't fail them. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we put these stuff on the scratch allocator, and then we respond with collections. Boom. And that's actually like maybe okay. So I guess we can't just refresh the page and expect things to work, because obviously we need to build the code and run it. I always forget that one. And he did get collections back with an empty list. Cool. So that makes sense. So we should be able to go in here now and say like, egg on bread, right? Add. So nothing happened, probably. No attempt to do anything. So let's fix that. Collections, JavaScript. So on here, we need to add, a handler where we say, where are we? In collections.html, collections plural.html. So we have new collection name and add to collection. New collection name node is one of these. And we have add collection button. And we can type these guys like this and like this so that, the autocompleter will help me out. And then here we say collection name node on input. We do something where we're like, we get some event and we want to check if we press enter on that thing. This is actually on key down. If EV key is enter, we submit it. So add collection, I guess we call it. And then we also do this on add button. On click, add collection, which means that we need a function. Add collection like this. He's going to call, fetch on the collection. And he's gonna be like, I'm putting some shit on you. Method is put, but the body is gonna have some JSON content. That's like just the name, I guess. So this is gonna be like collection name node value. Boom. Right? Simple. Then we have the response here, and we are going to take that response and we're going to shove it up our asses. New collection. This is what we get back. So he's going to tell us the ID, right? So we're going to be like response JSON, and we are going to be like append collection, new collection or something, right? And this guy, I guess we can say to, this is probably going to be like to the node, the collections node. So we're like, let's get some collections, baby. So this is a HTML div element. Boom. And here we're like, append to the collections node. Now, sometimes we might be appending to like a fragment or something when we do our initial setups, which is why I'm doing it this way. So we have the like output node and collections collection. Okay, so here we're like, so now, right, so here we just copy paste this shit here, boom, right? And then this is outNode.append. Down here we have append collection to the fragment. And then here we are appending collections to the connections node. And then everything else I think just kind of works. There's like a non-zero chance this does what I want it to do. Let's see. So we call egg on bread. I press enter. He tries to put collection with name egg on bread. Oh, to put collections. He's stupid. Okay, so this guy responded with egg on bread, and then we have egg on bread here with ID 1. And then if I hit this again, it's probably going to fail because the SQLite's rejecting it because the name is not unique. But if we say egg on bread 2, then this shows up here. We do want to insert new lines between these things. So can we do outNode.append a BR as well? That seems kind of reasonable for now. Cool. Egg on bread 3. Boom. Look at this go. And then when I click here, it goes to collection.html, but collection.html is like completely empty right now. So I would say add collection to DB is successful. So now we should be able to add ingredients to the collection. So I guess the first thing to do here is like create the collection page. So I think the collection page is probably going to be, heavily inspired by the ingredient page, where he, every single collection has the same URL, but we adjust the query parameter for like which one we're going to be editing. So probably if we just go like ingredient.html and we kind of copy this into collection.html. Boom. Okay, so now he's actually parsing the eggs. He's parsing ingredient ID 1. Oops, that's not good. So we're going to actually look at collection.js. We're going to probably have the collection name. I think makes sense. And I guess he's going to have a list of like ingredients as well as meals, probably, or like other collections. So I guess the question is like a little bit, do we care as like a user? Do I care if like I'm using an ingredient or another component? Like from the database perspective, that definitely matters. But from my perspective, if I'm like, hey, I had burger and milk, right? Burger is like a collection of stuff. Milk is like an ingredient, right? And like from my perspective, they're kind of the same. So maybe we'll just happen to sort them that way. But I think that we can just have like, elements. Collection components. And then we won't differentiate between ingredients and stuff. And then here we're going to have a select for, new or add component. And here, I guess we will just have like a drop down of all of the things we can add. Future here is like a search bar. Component by name, right? But for now, we can get away with just a drop down. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. So collection.js, we're going to have to, at the very least, do the skeleton thing of adding the header. So first of all, let's refresh this. So now we've got kind of nothing. That kind of makes sense because in collection HTML, we don't like set anything in the header or anything. Like that comes later. So I guess here we have to do async function init, right? We say window onload, please init, and then on here we probably have like import star from header.js, and here we say, why does he like that? Header dot, yeah, what doesn't he like? Oh, as header. Boom. So we can go like header, what is it? Header dot prepend header to body, yeah. Boom, so we have this now, hype. Recipes instead of components. But I think that it isn't like, it's like the collection is a recipe, kind of. Except I don't really like the word, I have this like stupid take where I think that using recipes isn't cooking. So I don't want to use that word, even if it is exactly what I'm making. Otherwise, how will I feel superior? Okay. So now what? At least you consider your own take stupid. I have a lot of those. I have a lot of takes that I know are wrong, but I still think them. Because it's like I think that everybody has those things where you know that like you've been told that something is untrue, but like you can't get there yourself, right? And I feel like I experience that often where I can't like build up to the same answer that everybody else got, but I know that their answer is like the one that they all agree on, right? And so like this is just one of those. Okay, so what am I trying to do in this bad boy? I guess I'm trying to like get the collection. So in ingredient, we did this where we can like look at these parameters of our URL, which URL. Oh, okay, sure. I don't know why I did it that way, but okay, sure, we can do that. I don't really feel like this has to be global. We take that ID and we do something with it, right? So we go like, fetch from components, and on that component, we're gonna add in the ID, right? So this is gonna be the component, which is gonna be the response JSON of this guy. Recipe are more like guidelines anyways. I have to modify them. Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. Because like you're not them. You might have things that you don't like the same things everybody else likes. You like the things you like. Okay. So this component is going to have a name. I guess that's all it has right now. So we're gonna say component hello. Oh, collections, my bad. Collection HTML has collection name, so collection name node is document get element by ID of collection name, and this thing is of type HTML header element, HTML heading element. That's gotta be the one, right? It has to be. Yeah, H1 through H6. Yeah. Okay, so then we're like collection inner text is this. So now when I refresh, no dice. Probably because the collection guy is not responding, right? So if we go to components 1, or not components, collections. I think that we just didn't handle that right yet in the server. So probably it's like wherever we say get collections, we also have to be like get child with ID. So this is gonna be like get collection with, I guess, just an ID. So I think it's just like this. And then when we call this, we have get collection singular. And this is going to be with the ID. And we respond that guy. So right now this is going to be relatively empty. But we're going to throw we're going to add like extra shit on get collection. So it will look a little different. Specifically, like all of the ingredients will come with this response. Okay. So select ID name from collections where ID is equal to the first parameter. We compile the statement. We do not return a list anymore. We return kind of one thing. So we say step this guy. If res is not equal to SQLite done, then we've got a problem. So we return this guy. Oh, actually no, it's SQLite row here, and we're only expecting one row. Cool. So then we parse out the row the same way that we did before. This is like fix me, duped with get collections plural, but I don't care right now. And then we just return this. Right, this should be enough for us for now. We don't need the name, true, so we don't need to select ID from this thing. And then that means it's just name length. This, we do need the allocator then, because the SQLite in memory that has the name of this thing inside it will go away. Cool. Now that I think about it, I should name the function that adds salt to the password hashes session season password. That's great. Love it. Love it. Okay, so this guy needs the scratch allocator to put the name of this guy on, and then that should all kind of work now. I guess we need to build the thing that we want to run. So he did not respond correctly, actually. What he happened? He said, file not found? No. Here, unexpected statement behavior at 720. Because I didn't bind in the ID. Oopsies. Oopsies. So here it's at 1. Which one comes first? Index. Oopies. Oh, he didn't like that? Why? Because I forgot the statement? True. True. Now he actually just full on crashed. That's kind of fun. Oh, interesting. So if name length is 0, is that a problem? So this thing like responded? The fuck? Let's take a look. Let's take a little peek skis. Why are we crashing? Why are we crashing? Okay, so let's go like frame 6. Name len here is 0. So that means that the thing did return, but it's just 0 length name. That's really bad. So when I go to like the normal collections page and I jump to egg on bread, so this must be wrong. Right? There's no way, like, oh, column 0. There we go. I'm a dumbass. There's 0 index, not 1 index. Much better. Much better. Okay, so we go back to collections. We got egg on bread 2, collections, egg on bread 3. Crazy. Crazy stuff. Okay, so now we need a way to add ingredients to this collection. So what we want to do is, let's think. What did we do for ingredients? I think we had an ingredient properties URL that like kind of like was the stapling of ingredient to property, and then we just did a put on that thing with the mapping. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do here. That seems reasonable. That like mirrors the DB well, which I think naturally leads to the best results. So, right, like I think we just have like this. So we're gonna have like collection prop or collection components. Is that what we called it in the DB? Collection ingredients. I think that's fine. Yeah, we are having one API for ingredients and one for collections, I think is sane. So collection collections and collection ingredients, both of those. And if we put on the base of this thing, we're going to call add collection ingredient with add collection ingredient params. And this is probably going to be like a structure that just takes the collection ID and the what's the other one? The ingredient ID and the quantity. Quantity. Cool. Cool. So now we have add collection ingredient here, who takes add collection ingredient params, and that has to go somewhere. Yeah, that seems reasonable so far. Add collection ingredient, so he's got some params. And it's gonna be like add collection ingredient, and I don't think we have to I guess this can return the mapping. This can return like the ID and the mapping. Sure, yeah, that seems reasonable. So mapping here like this, and this is params dot. I guess we can just pass in the params. That seems reasonable. That seems reasonable. Okay. So he takes a DB, he's got his params, and he returns a collection ingredient, I guess. Which has to map what we have in the database a little bit. So we have kind of like his ID, the collection ID, the ingredient ID, and the quantity. Boom, right? Simple. So this surely looks like add collection in some way. Surely. So we say insert into collection ingredients. We are inserting collection ID, ingredient ID, and quantity. Values 1, 2, 3. Buckle my knee. We bind in these guys. Bang distro, bang Linux. You're going to be disappointed. You can type as many exclamation mark things as you want. None of them will say anything. But we're on NixOS. But I don't think it really matters, to be honest. It's like I always say that I don't really think that I should ever recommend NixOS to someone. It's like Vim, where it's like if you discover it, that's hype. You know, it's probably something for you. But I would never say to someone that they should use these things because they come with problems. Bang mugshots crazy. What am I building? It's all on the top right, but it's, you know, a little website that I can use that basically is a glorified spreadsheet to track food intake so that I know how much I ate. Okay, so we return basically what they said to us. We assume that it inserted correctly if SQLite doesn't yell at us. And then we pass in the ID that we just got. So we're like, here's your shit, dude. Here you go. And then then everything just kind of works, I think. Probably. That does not compile, of course. Why would it? It never compiles. Expected one already found two. So yeah, here we pass in an allocator, but we don't do any allocations, so there's no reason to do that. True. Otherwise, it does seem to compile okay. So can we just do a little feed me and collections, egg on bread, and then I guess we now have the add collection ingredient thing, but we have to actually like do something there. So I think what we do is we add all of the ingredients that we have available to this dropdown, and then when we click on it, then that adds it and inserts it or something. What are we using for backend? I'm just using, writing a little Zig app. Ziggies, yeah, Ziggies. Yeah, okay. So, what fucking page is this? Collection? So here we're probably going to, off rip, look for collections and ingredients at the same time. So we're going to do a little JavaScript-y shit. So, we get the response, and then we say like response.json. This creates collections promise. Then we get the ingredients promise. And then we say like, give me collections and ingredients from all of these guys. Do them at once, please. Hello, I'm eating pizza. You can have them. Not until the website's done. It's not allowed. Please listen. Did I spell collections wrong? Collections. Oh, I forgot the E on promise. Sure. And then this is actually collection promise, not collections. Singular, not plural. Only trying to help. Yeah. No. This should be collection here as well. I don't know why I have a component in there. There we go. Okay. So now we should have a list of ingredients, and we can add those to the dropdown, and it'll probably look very similar to on the ingredient page, the way that I have this like add a property dropdown. It's almost the same. So, update page with properties is probably the guy. Okay. So let's take a look-see at what that guy did. He said, I have a preview option, true, that's like add an ingredient. And then he tried to iterate over these guys. So for ingredient of ingredients, we create a new option. That seems reasonable. We set the name to the name, and then we append this guy, true, okay. Do we not have to put this? Like, what the fuck? Surely we're missing something here, right? How does this work? Because new property. Oh, the new property is a dropdown. I see. So we had that kind of defined kind of globally as like new ingredient, like this. Is it all with Vim adjusters? Mostly, yeah. I don't think I'm really doing anything that special. Search, I use search a lot. Probably that's most of it. Is this AI? No. Okay, so we go clear out the content of the select element, add in an add ingredient thing is the first one, then append the preview option plus all of the ingredient names. That should work. Should work. But it doesn't. So why? Inner HTML on new ingredient is null. Did I do this wrong? Yeah, this is called add component. That's fair. That's fair. Add component, add component, add component. We'll do it this way. Add an ingredient: cream cheese, eggs, bread. Hype. Cool, cool, cool. What will you add for backend though? Oh, I'm just running like my own little Zig server, which is not too crazy. Okay, so now we have to make it so that when we click on this thing, it like does something, right? So, probably we can copy whatever we did in ingredient here. So presumably we did some sort of like on click handler, on change, we called add property, and then we forced it back to the preview one. Cool. And then here they just did update page with ingredient. Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's close. Do we want to start with this? Probably not. It's probably significantly different there. Sure. Component. Or what do we call it? Collection. Collection. So here we're going to be like, you know, when we touch that drop down, I would like to add ingredient. Or, yeah, because right now it only has ingredients in it. And we have the selected index. We want the list of ingredients. And what is ID here? ID is the ID of the page. Yes. And then we reset it back to preview. Okay. So far, so good. ID, ingredients, and selection index. We want to look at note that the selection index is 0 on preview, which means all others are offset by 1. It means that the ingredient that we picked is from ingredients from selection index -1. I guess we don't need to write note. It's pretty clear that it's a note by the fact that it's a comment at all. We now have the ID, so we can do like a fetch on, what do we call it? Collection ingredients or something. And we can say, yo, bitch, put this guy in there. And what is he putting? Some sort of like stringified JSON that looks kind of like this. So we have ID is the ID of the, this is the collection ID. So collection ID is collection ID. We have the ingredient ID is ingredient.id. And for now, we'll put the quantity at 0. So we'll say nothing, nothing, please. And then once that is done, this guy gives me some response. And we want to get the new ingredient mapping, right? So this is the response JSON. And we should be able to be like, something that's like append ingredient mapping. Somehow. I don't really know what's gonna go on here. Not really sure what's gonna go on here. Probably like, maybe we'll just log it for now. Okay. So let's go in here. We click bread. New property is not defined. True. I'm a dumbass. Refresh. Bread. Cream cheese. Okay, so what's happening here? So we are doing a put on this guy with, you know, collection ID as a string is bad here. That's not good. I don't like that. It's accepting it, but I'm not a fan. So can we do, how do we string to int JavaScript? I don't know. There's probably some like int cast bullshit. Parse int? Sure. If you say so. Okay, so now we click bread and we see a request with this. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little concerned that this is succeeding. right? It shouldn't. Our database should be rejecting this double insertion. So I'm not the biggest fan of that. I feel like we forgot to add a unique constraint that on the collection ID to the ingredient ID, right? Don't allow more than one of these pairs, which means that we probably should nuke the database and copy back from our seed db to db and then zig build and run this again. So hopefully we're not so far back that we're fucked. Egg on bread. We have egg on bread. We go here and we go bread. So now we send a request, collection ID 1, ingredient ID 3, quantity 0. We get back the new mapping of this guy. And if I hit bread again, he should have yelled at me. Nice. 500. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Okay. So now this guy like theoretically has that ingredient, but we are not displaying it in any way, right? So we should do that. So here we should be like display and modify ingredient quantities. So I guess each of these guys should have an ingredient name, which I believe is like easily available to us, right? So if we take in the ingredients here, the ingredients is like a list of things with an ID field in them. So if we're like, we should be like get ingredient by ID. And here we just go like we loop over them all for const ingredient of ingredients. If ingredient ID is equal to ID, return ingredient like this, bang, bang, boom, bish, bash, bosh, turn null at the end. And then we could be like, get ingredient by ID, ingredients with mapping dot ingredient ID, right? That makes sense. And for now, can we just log the ingredient name? And can we call this on init? So we should be like somewhere, I guess update page with ingredients. This is not it. We want we actually don't have the list at all off rip. So probably when we get the collection, it should give us a list of all of the ingredients that come with it, right? Right now it says name egg on bread. Here it should have an ingredients field. Yes. So let's fix that. So this collection should have, ingredients. Which I think we're gonna have as a segmented list, probably, of collection ingredient. Right, I think that's right. Yep. And I think we're gonna have a function on here, maybe not public, that's like get collection ingredients. So we're going to be getting for a specific ID. This is the collection ID. And he's going to return a list of these guys. Collection ingredient. Nice. Okay. And here he's going to do, let's just copy paste something. Probably it's going to be many things. So we'll copy paste get collections. We're going to say select ID, collection ID, ingredient ID quantity from collection ingredients, where ID is 1, where 1 we will bind in the collection ID here. Bang, bang, boom. We create, a list of these guys on some sort of allocator. So we're just going to say, yo, we're going to leak a bunch of memory on this guy. Deal with it, bitch. So we initialize this thing. How many ingredients might there be in a collection? I think once again, 10,000 ingredients is insane. 100 is already a lot, but it's like small enough that we can just like fucking wing it. That's fine, right? I think that that's fine min and max guesses. And we need to pull out the things we care about. So I think it's pretty clear at this point that extracting a text is like a thing that we need to do a lot. So let's call this like get text. Get column text. And this guy is going to be on some allocator, right? And we're going to look at the statement here as a SQLite 3 statement. And then also the column index, and I guess as a cint makes sense here. Okay. So we say get me the text, get me his bytes, and then copy that shit out. Okay, which makes it much easier to start. Oh, also, I don't know why I pulled that out now, because there's no text columns in this thing. I just assumed there would be, but there's not. I saw the word text, and I was like, okay, but it's actually not there. I forgot also that we have to do a SQLite 3 bind int 64 of to the statement with the collection ID. And yeah, I just saw text here and got confused. I'm a dumbass. So we have ID, collection ID, ingredient ID, and quantity. One of the big selling points of Vim is that it's got a huge scaling almost no one has ever done. Well, okay, I mean, without reading the rest of that, I will say that, you know, like, it's kind of like language, I think, right? Like, this should be collection ID. Like, I would say that I'm, you know, you could say that I'm consistently learning English, but in reality, like, how many words have I added to my vocabulary in the past, like, 20 years? 20's long. In the past, like, 10 years? Probably only, like, brain rot terms, right? Like, I don't really know how much, like, I'm really learning English anymore, and I would say that, like, my Vim has probably stagnated to some extent as well. But you are kind of right that, like, you could never be, like, you could always keep going. But I've kind of come to the conclusion that, like, learning a more efficient way to do a lot of things, like, doesn't matter anymore, because my typing speed is, like, relatively high. If I'm, like, if I'm taking, like, 10 characters to do something, but it, like, makes sense as a sequence of actions in my brain, that's worth it compared to, like, learning a new action to me. But yeah, it super depends. Super depends. I forgot the component ID or collection ID here. So this doesn't have to be pulled from database because we know it up front, but we still do need to shove it in here because that's how the type works. Which means that now when we add a collection, we are going to return with an empty ingredients list. Which I guess kind of means that this runtime segmented list, a nice little empty helper would be kind of nice. I don't really know how to do this, but surely if we just say, like, I mean, we could just put a null on it, and then that makes our lives easier. We can just do this. We can do this. So normally it's null, usually null, only populated when requesting a single collection at a time, we'll say. This avoids extra, DB overhead when calling collections versus collections num. How do you motivate yourself to continue learning coding after a day of work? For me, there's a reason that I don't work right now, and that's the big one, right? Like, for me, I find that when work is hard, I just can't, right? The answer is, like, I'm fucked. And I find that for me, a thing that, like, I very heavily value in my life is, like, the enjoyment of coding for fun. That's like one of my favorite things in the fucking world, right? And so like when I go to work and I'm sitting there and I'm trying to get stuff done, but like there's a lot of things in the way of that, you know, some of that being like it's not all bad things that get in the way, right? But it's hard like in my experience in the past couple places I've worked, it's been hard for me to sit down and code for 8 hours, right? To just get to work, bang something out, be done, right? Usually I end up in these roles where I'm very like I like talking to people, and I also like being helpful, right? So what ends up happening is I end up in these roles where I'm spending tons of my time helping other people with stuff, which is like good and useful and like boost the productivity of everyone around me. But like it makes it hard for me to like sit down and code for 8 hours, and when it becomes like too much like that, um, especially like at the point where I can't say no anymore because I've been like pushed into these roles that are more of that. Um, then I get frustrated. I can't work on anything, and then I get home and I'm too tired to work on stuff. And so like this thing that is like one of my favorite parts of my entire fucking life is like something that I can't do anymore, right? And so like when you're like, how do you motivate yourself? It's like, yeah, dude, it fucking blows, right? Like, I mean, I think I'm also of the opinion. You're telling me just quit. I mean, that was my solution. I don't think that's a very good solution, but that was my solution. And like, I think that I view the world differently than I think probably most people on this, but especially like the code grinders that you're gonna see on Twitter, right? Like, I don't know if I believe in motivation. Like, maybe that's like a little bit strong, but I definitely don't believe that I should be making myself do things that I don't want to do. I should be restructuring my life so that the things that I want to do are good for me, if that makes sense. Right? So like if I like cuz otherwise the way my brain works, I hear this is like an ADHD thing. I don't know how true that is, but otherwise, I will just think about things that I wish I was doing, not do them, and then hate myself. And just get like really upset and sad and just like frustrated. Right? And so in reality, if I'm not doing something, it's because there's some if I'm not doing something that I like quote unquote want to do, then there's some bigger problem stopping me from doing that, and like addressing whatever that is like more important for me, right? So like that's why I'm saying like for me the response to I'm not being able to code as much off stream is like or sorry off stream, dude. My brain is so fucking cooked from doing this, but uh like if I'm like I can't do this because I'm so stressed out from work and it's a thing I love and I love more than making money, right? It's like then I should quit my job because like I'm not going. The sheer force of will is always, for me, a temporary solution, right? Like force of will can only get you so far, and like if you are fighting an uphill battle, like eventually you'll fall over and roll back down. Is kind of how I view it. So I'd rather restructure my life to avoid problems. Now, obviously, that mindset that mindset falls over frequently, right? So there was like I didn't do dishes for a year. I just had dirty dishes on my desk or like on my desk, and I'm like, don't want to do them. I guess that's fine, and it's like not very fine, right? Like that's disgusting. But also like maybe that's better than me like hating myself for 4 months until I finally do them. Maybe you could argue. So who fucking knows, man? Now, like, I mean, eventually, it got so bad that I'm like, okay, I have to fix this. And now my solution is just, I know that I can't let dishes pile up on my desk, right? And so, like, I can just fix the life situation of that, right? I can be like, okay, the rule now is no dish done, washed right away. Otherwise, I'm fucked. And I can follow that rule. That rule doesn't like upset me. But the like idea of having a pile of dirty dishes on my desk that I have to clean up, that like ruins my life. Right? And so it's just like find find ways to structure your life so that things work. So if you're like, I want to work on code, but there's something in my life stopping me from doing that, then like you have to find systems for yourself that like work for you, I guess is basically what I'm trying to say. Dishes not done equals no code. No! Anyways, that's a roundabout way of saying, I don't fucking know, man. Motivation's fucking hard, and my solutions aren't very good. Anyways, ingredients. Null. Boom. Get collection. Here we go. So now, oh, this is where that was coming in, by the way, that get text. Name is try get text. Wow. So this is column 0 off the leaky allocator with some statement, probably. Yeah. Maybe we need a website for the dishes. Perfect. Yeah, that's the fix. And then we have the ingredients is from, what was it called? Get collection ingredients with the leaky allocator, the ID of our collection, and I think that's it. And then we can ascend that here. And that should be enough. Maybe? Found 2, expected 3. Oh, self-dot. My bad. What's mad here? Bind int 64. Yeah, true. I do have to bind this to a number. And then we probably have to C-check this motherfucker. Make sure that he's not mad at us. Ingredient ID at 79 is pissed off. Did I spell it wrong? Ingredient ID. Ingre, I-N-G-R-E, ingre, D-I-E-N-T. I think that's right. Okay. So now, hopefully, when I refresh this, when we call this guy, we should see an ingredient list here, which is height, right? So we see ingredients. We have an ingredient mapping in here, and now we just have to, like, display that on the web page somehow. I like food. Sick, dude. Me too. It's pretty good. Sometimes you need just to live and shit. God damn, dude. Okay, so what are we going to? We're going to collection HTML. And JS. JavaScript time. And I guess now we have a list of ingredients, and we can say add ingredient mapping. And we can call that on our list of ingredients. So we can go for collection ingredient mapping, I guess we'll call it, of collection ingredients. What do we call it in there? Yeah, ingredients. We are going to say add ingredient mapping. Okay. Ingredients, like, surely this needs to be added to some output node, right? So we're probably going to make like a fragment, create document fragment, and then here we put the fragment here. Okay. And then at the end of this, we say, we have our like collections node. You know, something like this. So this is collections node. And I think this is, what is this supposed to be? Am I a fucking dumbass? I'm a fucking dumbass. What's going on here? Collection HTML. So we need to add this to the collection components. That's what it's called. Collection components node. So we're going to take that document fragment and we're going to put it here. So collection components node, append the fragment. And then before we do that, we're going to say, we're going to clear that shit. Like this. Okay, then we, in here, append these things to the fragment, and this is like out and out here. Cool. And so we like extract the ingredient from the list of ingredients. we create a new node, probably. Maybe from a template. Maybe not. It's like what? We have like a field of an input, I guess. So this is going to be document create element input, input dot type is probably number, right? And input value is going to be the mapping value here. Okay. We have then like the name, I guess. Right? And we're going to have like name value is ingredient name, I guess. Right? Seems reasonable. And then we like put that in the out node. So we're going to be like, maybe this all goes in a div. That kind of feels nice, because then if we want to do like styling on this thing, we kind of have a way to do that. So it's probably like we get the input, we append the name in the input, and then we append this the output. And then maybe this is like kind of works. No. Name on ingredient is null? Really? What the fuck is the ingredient? I would have thought that the ingredient should have a name. Null. Gross. I see. I see. Probably because one of these is an integer and one of them is a fucking... I bet you that equals. No? Okay. Let's see. Console log ingredient. Let's look at them. And ID. Okay, so here we have ID 0 over and over again. That's probably the mistake. So the mapping ingredient ID is 0? That doesn't make sense. Yeah, that seems like a fucking bug. If we don't have ingredients with ingredient ID 0. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So that makes sense that there's no ingredient ID 0, but then why does our collection egg on bread think that he has an ingredient ID 0? That's bad. That's not good at all. So it could be a bug in the DB. I guess let's look at the content of the database right now and just see if we'll see how fucked it is. Like, is it 0 in the DB? That's the question. If it is, we done fucked up. Because I would think that the DB shouldn't even let us insert that with the foreign key constraints. So I suspect the bug is somewhere else, but... Yeah, see, this has ingredient ID 3 right here, which is really good. There is no way for this thing to be 0. Right? So that means that the bug is probably in our web server somewhere. So ingredient ID... we are just off by 1, huh? That would do it. That would do it, dude. Okay. So that's good. Now the fact that there's no words here doesn't look great to me. So we probably fucked up here somewhere. So we have name is a span. Name.innerText. My bad. Bread. Bread. And then here, mapping value doesn't seem to be working correctly. Right, so I assume that this is wrong, undefined. Quantity. I forgot the name. Boom! Okay, so now we should be able to... are you importing any packages or just standard library stuff? I've imported SQLite. So I add cream cheese. Refresh cream cheese is here, but when I click cream cheese here, it didn't get added directly. So what happened there? Eggs. So I think I just probably forgot to call add ingredient mapping in that scenario. Yeah, probably. So when we do this, we have to call add ingredient mapping here. So this is going to be appending to the collection components node, and we are looking at the new mapping with the ingredients. Okay. Yeah, so I use Zig standard library, my standard library. So like we've written a bunch of stuff. This started maybe when we were working on the image editor project, but kind of like the way that we use allocators has kind of evolved into being like our own kind of way that's kind of separate from the standard library. And so as a result of that, we end up with these like systems that are kind of different than what the standard library would design. So we have like kind of like a collection of stuff that we wrote. But then on top of that, I try to pull in dependencies lightly. Our standard library like depends on OpenGL sometimes if you want that. It's like kind of hard to avoid if you're doing like graphics programming. If you're going to touch the GPU, you got to touch the GPU. And then we're pulling an SQLite here. It's a pretty fucking good program or library, dude. SQLite's pretty fucking sick. So sparingly. But I think our only dependency right now is SQLite and standard lib. Okay, so I guess let's nuke the database, copy the seed back over, run this thing again, because we have no way of deleting right now, which maybe we should add, but for now we cannot. So we add a collection, egg on bread. We go to egg on bread. We add cream cheese. That is automatically here. We add eggs, we add bread. Let's fucking go, dude. So then we have to look at, I guess probably these should be hyperlinks to the ingredient probably. So if you want to check something about the ingredient itself, I think that makes sense. So this should actually be a link, and name href should be to ingredient with ID equals plus ingredient ID. Right? So now if I want to say like, ooh, it's ingredient.html. So if I want to look at like bread, I know that my serving size is 51 grams. So if I have 2 pieces of bread, this should say 102, right? Now, I don't think that does anything yet. So we need to like modify this ingredient quantity when we modify this thing. But overall, we're pretty fucking close, right? So we should be able to go on this input, we should be like input on change. We do update ingredient quantity with EV target value. And I guess we'll kind of figure out what this thing needs eventually. So async function, probably because he's going to talk to the server. Update ingredient quantity. This guy is going to need to take in the our ID. So I guess it makes sense kind of put this here. And we could even call this like collection ID off rip. So it's kind of just available everywhere. And then I guess we have to look for every usage of ID. I guess probably just in this main function where he was used. So this is collection ID here. And here, I guess it's not really used anywhere else. Hype. I guess technically we don't have to pass this thing around anymore, which is kind of interesting. Hello, Mr. Full Stack Dev. Yeah, I'm so full stack dev right now. All right. So we have a collection ID now that is chill. And we can use that here to do what? We're going to do some sort of fetch. Right? We're going to put like collection ingredients, probably. And this is going to be like plus. This is the quantity ID, the like mapping ID, I guess we call it. And we are putting in, I guess, just a change to the value, huh? Yeah, I guess that's kind of it. And then we're probably just discarding the response even, to be honest. Sure. Okay, so that means that this guy needs to know the mapping ID here. So like this. And that should be good. I think. It seems reasonable. I actually thought this would be more work. Okay, now presumably we have to implement something on the back end for this to work. So probably when we are parsing REST APIs, somewhere in here we're going to see collections. He's going to have to implement a put child handler, which is going to say, somebody called a put on me, sir. Please figure out what the fuck we're supposed to do. So we'll call this modify collection ingredient. And this is going to be modify collection ingredient params. And sure. Which means that we need to make that thing. Modify collection ingredient params is a structure, and I guess it's just like the ID and the... This is quantity. And I guess this is just, like, we can't really change the ingredient ID or anything. That would be like a delete and re-add, I think. So this is probably just like a sane API here, probably. Yeah, let's do that. We'll kind of see where that goes. What's he pissed about? Oh, Doesn't exist? Did I not modify collection ingredient? Ingredient. And then this is actually kind of more like this. Okay. Cool. So ID is the ID, and the params are the params. It's crazy out here. We're getting wet and wild. I hate that like wet and wild is a thing that like falls out of my mouth every once in a while. What like an absolutely disgusting thing to say. This is also on the wrong fucking spot, actually. Should be here. Dude, gross. That's what I'm saying, dude. But we're getting wild out here. Not wet. We're very dry. Dry and wild. Extremely dry. Okay, so we have params. Here we're gonna modify this guy. We probably are gonna not return anything. I'm kind of okay with returning nothing. And this is modify collection ingredient. And we're just gonna be like params.id, params quantity, boom. And now we have to make that thing. Modify collection ingredient. He returns nothing. And in here we have some SQL statement that we're gonna run. Update collection ingredients with quantity. So it's like update collection ingredients, set quantity to 2 where ID is 1. Okay, chill. Wet and wild to dry and dialed. That's sick, dude. We're dry and dialed is so funny. I'm into it. I'm into it. That's a good one. This is the ID, and we're gonna set it to the quantity. We're gonna step our statement, and if he doesn't work good, we'll get mad. Cool. Cool. So does that kind of do everything we wanted to do? Maybe. So now I go to this site and I click on bread to see his quantity size. I say, we're having 102 grams of bread, thank you very much. And he does not like that. So we tried to go to collection ingredients 3. And he said file not found, which kind of indicates that like this didn't work. Did we spell it right? Collection C-O LLECTIONINGREDIENTS. Okay, so that should be fine. So why doesn't this work then? Are we getting here? Can we just hit like a, unreachable or something? Get it to crash. Yeah, so no. That's interesting. Oh, it's a get? I'm a dumbass, maybe? Yes. Like this. Oopsies, just forgot a bunch of stuff. No wonder, when I was like, I thought it would be more stuff. Turns out it was more stuff. Turns out. Okay, so now we crashed, which means that we got to the right spot, which is good. That crash was intentional. 1, 2, 3, refresh. And so we should see now that when I request this guy, we should see that like the bread quantity is 1, 2, 3. So that's really good. That means that it's getting applied and staying in there. So now we can say, I had 1 serving of cream cheese and I had, 100 grams of eggs. Now, we need to fix these units so that we can say I had 2 eggs and 2 pieces of bread. But this is something, right? So now I have egg on bread as a thing that we can reference later and have eggs, cream cheese, and bread. Let's fucking go, dude. It's pretty sick. Pretty sick. I think the next thing to do would be to add the ability to have like collections that reference other collections, but I'm kind of okay doing that off stream or in happy hour because in reality, what we are like, it would just be more of the same, right? We would make a table that maps collections to collections, and then we would make, this add an ingredient have like that he would reference that collections of collections things, we would like pull from that collections of collections table and all that stuff, but it's exactly the same as ingredients, so it's like kind of just like a plug and chug exercise that I might do while like watching TV or something. Cool. I think probably the next thing to add is hopefully like meal view and then like coalescing. Is that the right word? I feel like I use that word a lot and I'm never sure if it's right. Coalescing. Yeah, growing together, fusing. Yeah, so like coalescing of within a collection, like being able to retrieve attributes about this collection now, right? So we have like on eggs, we know that like 1 serving of egg is 70 calories, but like we need to figure out like, okay, so in my collection, in this thing, I have 100 grams of egg. How many calories is that based off of the values in here? We're gonna have to do stuff like that. So we're gonna have to do that. So that's probably what's coming up next. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, we stream most days. We aim for 12:30 o'clock Pacific time to 4 o'clock Pacific time. It is 3:45 Pacific time now, so anywhere between 3 and a bit hours ago to now-ish is when you should expect to see us live. We are right now working on this, food tracking website, but this is kind of a detour from our longer-term project of working on an Xbox controller, which we will get back to. I'm trying to make one of these from scratch. You can see I have some 3D printed parts. They're assembling okay. We have a PCB that's ready to be ordered. So when we finish this project, we'll jump back on that one. There's a YouTube link in the Twitch description where you can follow along if you're not watching online. And the stream is broken up into like things that get posted on that YouTube channel and things that do not. Things that do not are basically just like things that I don't think fit into a 2-hour titleable, thumbnailable thing, right? So if you want to see all of that stuff and you can't see it, catch us live where it's free, you can support on Patreon, Twitch, or YouTube, and you should be able to get like VODs in the appropriate spots. Please consider supporting, right? Because the length of this stream, not like one stream, but the lifetime of the streaming in general, basically is until I run out of money, right? And so every dollar I receive making this extends the lifetime of the stream by some undefined amount. But if you would like to contribute to that, that is an option. But of course, no worries, no pressure, etc. I think that's it. YouTube, peace out. Twitch, let's find someone to raid.